There is a system inside Israel's F-35 that has never been publicly discussed in detail. Most people focus on the aircraft itself, its speed, its stealth, its missiles. But the system that actually protects the pilot and makes the mission possible is something completely different. The ANASQ-239 Barracuda is an electronic warfare system built directly inside the F-35 airframe. No external pod, no visible attachment. It sits inside the skin of the aircraft and works completely in the background. From the moment the jet enters hostile airspace to the moment it lands back home. Here is what makes Israel's version unique. Every country that operates the F-35 has a version of this system, but Israel worked with IAI, Israel Aerospace Industries, to integrate their own regional intelligence directly into it. Decades of signal collection from Middle East operations, Iranian radar electronic signatures, Syrian air defense response patterns, real data from real missions flown over real defended territory. This means Israel's Barracuda does not just react to threats. It already knows what those threats look like before the mission even begins. Think about what that means practically. A pilot takes off on a strike mission. The target is inside heavily defended airspace. Multiple radar systems are active on the ground. Surface-to-air missile batteries are online. Trained operators are watching their screens. Barracuda starts working the moment the jet gets close. It picks up every radar frequency scanning the area. It identifies each system by its electronic signature. It analyzes the threat, and then it responds, automatically, in milliseconds, in ways that degrade what the enemy operator sees on his screen. The pilot does not have to manage this manually. Barracuda handles it. The pilot focuses on the mission. This is what separates modern electronic warfare from everything that came before it. It is not about flying faster than a missile. It is not about being invisible to every radar. It is about controlling the information the enemy receives and making that information unreliable. Israel has built its air operations around this concept, and Barracuda is the core of that capability inside the F-35. Understanding how this system actually works, the technology behind it, the real capabilities, the confirmed operational use, is what the next two parts cover in full detail. To understand Barracuda properly, you need to understand one basic principle first. Every radar system in the world operates the same way. It sends out a radio wave. That wave travels through the air, hits an object, and bounces back. The radar reads that returning signal and displays a target on the operator's screen. The operator then uses that information to guide a missile or track an aircraft. The entire system depends on one thing, the returning signal being accurate. Barracuda's job is to make that signal inaccurate. The system has multiple antennas embedded around the entire F-35 airframe. Front, rear, sides, full 360-degree coverage. There is no blind spot. The moment any radar frequency touches the aircraft, Barracuda detects it immediately. It does not just register that a radar is active. It goes deeper than that. It identifies the specific type of radar system. It reads its frequency, its pulse pattern, its scanning behavior. Every radar system has what engineers call an electronic fingerprint, a unique pattern in how it operates. Barracuda reads that fingerprint and matches it against its threat library. That threat library is what makes Israel's version particularly capable. It contains detailed electronic data on radar and missile systems operating across the Middle East, collected through years of signals intelligence work. When Barracuda detects a radar signal, it does not just know that a threat is present. It knows exactly which system it is dealing with and what that system's vulnerabilities are. Once the threat is identified, Barracuda has several response options. The first is electronic jamming. It transmits signals on the same frequency as the enemy radar, overpowering the return signal. The operator's screen fills with noise. The target becomes impossible to track cleanly. A missile cannot get a reliable lock. The second is a more advanced technique called spoofing. Instead of simply blocking the radar signal, Barracuda sends back a carefully constructed false return. It makes the enemy radar believe the aircraft is at a different position, altitude, or heading. The operator sees a target, but it is in the wrong place. Any missile fired based on that data will miss. The third function is threat warning and pilot support. If a missile has already been launched, Barracuda immediately alerts the pilot with precise information: the type of missile, its direction, its estimated range. The pilot can then deploy countermeasures or maneuver to break the lock with full situational awareness of exactly what is happening around the aircraft. All three of these functions happen simultaneously and automatically. The processing speed is measured in milliseconds. No human operator could match that reaction time manually. What makes this system stand apart from older electronic warfare technology is that it does not operate in a fixed, predictable way. It adapts in real time based on what it is detecting. If the threat changes, Barracuda's response changes with it. This is not passive defense. This is active electronic combat, happening invisibly at the speed of light on every mission. Understanding how Barracuda works technically is one thing. Understanding what it means in real operational terms is something completely different. Israel flies strike missions regularly. These are not training exercises. These are real operations against real targets in defended airspace. The Israeli Air Force has conducted hundreds of strikes inside Syria alone over the past several years. Targets have included weapons shipments, missile storage facilities, and military infrastructure belonging to Iranian-backed groups operating in the region. These targets are not sitting in open, undefended land. They are protected. Syrian air defense networks are active. Iranian military advisors are present on the ground. Russian radar systems have been operational in Syria for years. This is a complex, layered air defense environment, and Israeli F-35s have been operating inside it consistently. The fact that these missions happen and that aircraft return safely tells you something important about the electronic warfare capability protecting them. Barracuda is not a theoretical system sitting in a laboratory. It is a combat-tested tool that has been validated in real operational conditions against real threats. What Israel has built around this capability is also worth understanding. Electronic warfare does not work in isolation. Barracuda is one part of a larger system of systems. Israeli F-35s operate with support from dedicated electronic warfare aircraft, ground-based signal intelligence assets, and satellite data, all feeding information into missions in real time. Barracuda sits at the center of this network on the aircraft itself, executing the electronic response at the point where it matters most. This layered approach is what gives Israel consistent operational results in a threat environment that would challenge any other air force. There is also a broader significance to this technology that goes beyond Israel specifically. The ANASQ-239 Barracuda represents a fundamental shift in how air combat works. For decades, the primary focus of fighter aircraft development was speed, maneuverability, and weapons payload. Electronic warfare was important but secondary. The F-35 changed that balance. Electronic warfare is not an add-on to this aircraft. It is a core function built into the design from the beginning. Israel recognized this early. Their investment in integrating regional intelligence into Barracuda reflects an understanding that in modern air combat, information dominance is as important as physical capability. A faster jet with better missiles loses to a slower jet that has already corrupted the enemy's ability to aim. That is the strategic reality Barracuda represents. For anyone studying modern military aviation, electronic warfare, or Middle East security, this system is one of the most important pieces of technology currently operating in the region. It is not visible. It does not make headlines the way a new missile system does. But its impact on operational outcomes is direct and measurable. Israel's F-35 Adir is already considered one of the most capable combat aircraft flying today. The ASQ-239 Barracuda is a significant reason why. It gives the pilot something that raw speed and stealth alone cannot provide: the ability to operate inside a defended environment with confidence that the electronic battlefield is being actively managed around them. That capability, built quietly into the skin of an aircraft, is what modern air superiority actually looks like.